Guten Morgen, ich heiße Snasia Reynolds.
Ich heiße Rebecca Leitner.
Ich heiße Faris Malik.
And ich heiße Jeremy Greenberg.
Und wir sind Around the Globe Consulting.
Today we're talking about Klafs' current demographics, which they target, the future demographics, which they can target a younger, more sustainable consumer segment, as well as the costs associated with pivoting to this new marketing strategy, the timeline for implementation, and then Klafs' current strengths and the strengths after they take our recommendation. Klafs is positioned very well in the German sauna industry, being the largest, if not one of the largest, sauna manufacturers in Central Europe. They, according to an internal report our German teammates were able to acquire, Klafs made 108 million euros last year, and they currently service a demographic of 50 years or older, with 70% of their current consumers being between the ages of 50 and 69. However, while Germany does have an aging population, they still have a massive amount of people under the ages of 49. And we believe by using social media to target this younger, more sustainable demographic, we will be able to grow their revenue substantially.
So the reason why basically our overall idea is to partner with influencers and use that to target the younger demographic, because it's statistically proven that millennials, so about ages 30 and under, are looking at these influencers in order for what they want. And according to reports, it says that they trust influencers more than they trust a celebrity endorsement, because they feel more of a stronger connection with these influencers. They follow them on Instagram, they subscribe to their YouTube channels, and they frequently interact with them on Twitter. So this shows that they have a more personal connection with them, and that's why they believe that what they say is more true, because they feel like they're their friends.
Our two target influencers are Pamela Reif and FC Bayern Munich. Pamela Reif has a follower count of 4.2 million, and her posts primarily consist of fitness, right diet, beauty, fashion, and travel. She primarily targets the female side of the millennial demographic, and as our German teammates informed us, she is very popular. Similarly, FC Bayern Munich, they have 16.1 million followers, and their posts consist of games, players on and off the field, as well as promotional events and offers. Based on their follower count and the influence that these two accounts have, we deduce that they would be the most beneficial influencers to promote Klafs products.
So in between these two, on average, the cost of an Instagram influencer post is about $1,000 per 100,000 followers, according to InfluencerInfluencer.net. So our current plan is to donate both Pamela Reif and FC Bayern Munich a sauna. We'd be giving Pamela Reif a smaller, more personal sauna for her personal residence, and Bayern Munich would be given a larger, more industrial sauna for their training facility. And according to their website, they currently don't have a sauna, or it's not listed on their website. So our current plan for Pamela Reif is to have her post one post every 4 months at about $45,000, take into account the fact that she's being given a sauna. And for Bayern Munich, Klafs will become the official sauna partner of FC Bayern Munich. And for FC Bayern Munich, we hope that their players will endorse how the sauna culture that they've been granted through Klafs will give them a healthier playing and healthier lifestyle, so that they can be more efficient on and off the field. And that'll cost about $360,000, take into account the gift of the sauna. So with over 21 million followers combined between the two, between Bayern Munich and Pamela Reif, we're looking at a lot of people that could be potentially seeing these posts. So for instance, if 1 out of every 100 of those 21 million followers saw their posts, Klafs would see a revenue increase of over 2 billion euros, or 1,000% what they currently have. Now, if only 1 out of 1,000 of those 21 million followers saw this post and decided to buy a sauna, it would be $200 million increase, or about 100% increase in revenue. Now, the most reasonable projection that we could come up with is that 1 out of 10,000 0.01% of all the followers that looked at this post will buy a sauna, or about 2,000 people. If they buy a sauna at about 10,000 euros, Klafs will be given a revenue increase of 20 million euros, or about 20% of their current revenue.
So what is the timeline for this? Basically, we project that we would start in January of 2020, build to create the partnership with these two different entities. Then in February, we would begin construction on the personal sauna for Pamela Reif and the larger sauna for Bayern Munich. And then, so we project that would take a little while to build, and then for them to get accustomed to it and use it and really be able to give their true opinions on it. And then we project that the posts would happen May through August, with FC Bayern Munich only going May through July, because they were only doing 3. We chose this time specifically because that's when soccer is the most popular with the World Cup, so that's when they have the most visitors on their Instagram and their social medias.
Our pre-implementation SWOT analysis, as you can see, had many strengths, such as high-quality products, a strong hold in the current marketplace. However, there are opportunities, weaknesses, and threats that we really wanted to emphasize on, such as changing the aging demographic and increasing marketing efforts, as well as starting social media campaigns. I'll pass it on to Horace to discuss how the post-implementation SWOT analysis has changed.
As Sandra said, we really wanted to focus on the aging target demographic and poor social media in order to turn those opportunities and weaknesses into strengths. And by partnering with influencers, we believe that we can turn those into strengths while growing Klafs revenue by up to 1,000%. Thank you for coming, and we'd like to open up the floor to questions.
Thank you. Thanks. Do you want to start with questions? I'm kind of question hog.
That's okay, because I don't know the question. Well, I was curious that I guess the 2 influencers that you chose for women, it seems that Pamela doesn't have as many people following her versus an entire team. So just curious if, I guess it felt maybe unbalanced to me, and maybe you could talk more about that.
So FC Bayern Munich is a super big football soccer team internationally as well. So majority of their followers, I know from my personal account, a bunch of my followers also followed FC Bayern Munich. So it's not that all of their followers are Germans, whereas Pamela Reif, most of her followers are focused more on the German demographic and population. So even though her following account is lower, it is because there isn't as much of a variety in ages, countries following her, etc. So although she has less followers, her followers are more focused to millennial women.
To add on to that, FC Bayern Munich is not only massively popular with men in Germany, it's also massively popular with women in Germany. And so we believe that, yes, FC Bayern Munich is like a male team, but it has cross-sex appeal to all consumers.
Just building off of that question too, since you have pointed out that doing an analysis on the followers and the rate of return, if a certain percentage, you said if 0.01% might buy a sauna, that still is going to increase Klafs sales by 20%. Does that number look different for Pamela versus the team? And do you think there would be a lot more of many more purchases that would be realized from Pamela related to the number of followers that she has versus the Bundesliga team?
Well, I think just based on sheer numbers, yeah, I mean, Bayern Munich has 4 times as many followers as Pamela Reif does, or Pamela Reif. But I still think that their influence is going to be have a similar effect based on their target demographic. Like Sandra said, not all of Bayern Munich's followers live in Germany, and this ad is more focused to sauna culture of Germany and Austria and other European countries focused that have a higher percentage of people involved in sauna culture. So while Pamela Reif may have a smaller amount of followers compared to Bayern Munich, I still think that they both will have an effect. They're both an effective channel to get.
And I agree with you on that. I'm just wondering, is she more effective per follower, I suppose?
I would think that she's more targeted, like we said, in the German female demographic, and so the rate of return might be slightly higher than Bayern Munich's.
How about with luxury-oriented consumers? Because that is the specific area that we need to target.
I definitely think that she'll be more impactful in that sense, just because she's kind of more towards that versus the Bayern Munich is like more for enjoyment. They're not necessarily going to that Instagram to be advertising fun known products, but that could just be like a cross benefit.
I thought it was really interesting that you chose two influencers that you realize don't have a connection to saunas. Are there influencers that do have a connection to saunas?
Our main goal was to find the most popular accounts in Germany that would have the most hold and focus for the individuals who live in Germany and the surrounding European countries. Discussing with our German teammates, we were trying to target both a female influencer and then a male influencer, and we initially started with Manuel Neuer. However, we decided that targeting the entire team would be more beneficial because each player would be able to post on Snapchat, Instagram, using the sauna, even though we're not paying them to promote it. It just comes with the ability of them using it.
Have you seen any examples of sports figures that got some kind of a benefit at work and then they started promoting it?
Yes. Even on IU's campus, Victor Oladipo and Cody Zeller recently donated a new locker room, and the team's always posting like, oh, look at this cool thing that we have in our new locker room. Like Cody Zeller and Victor Oladipo post on their own social media about it. If you go to the Cowboys locker room in Dallas, Texas, it has all of the amenities you could ever dream of.
Is it awkward to post about a sauna? Do you think that would be the kind of the last thing that they might post about? Maybe the locker room, maybe the weight room, but not the sauna.
I think that's an American perspective. Like we said, we really do believe we have more body shape almost than the German people do. And if you even look at the post that we've selected on the far right of FC Bayern Munich, they're fine showing a little skin. Well, I'm not saying that they would post anything below the waist, but they could definitely post about being in there and the benefits that it has. And going back to your previous question, I don't believe that there's any sauna-specific influencers, but both of these influencers have ties to the benefits of sauna. Pamela Reif is a wellness and beauty influencer, and sauna definitely fits into wellness and beauty, as well as the health benefits that Klafs touts and its corporate values would be exemplified in the use by FC Bayern Munich.
So it's just going off that back to the sports for a second. I know for me personally, when I was playing sports, being in the locker room with your teammates, you really bonded the most. There's no one else around there besides you and your teammates. And I know, like, you know, it's a little uncommon to be like naked with your buddies in a sauna in America, but in Germany, because their culture is more like less body shaming and they're more comfortable, being in the sauna, you know, like posting appropriate pictures, it really shows team bonding. And you know, you could spend upwards of an hour in the sauna, so I just feel like it'd be a great bonding opportunity for the teammates as well.
Since we're talking about posts, I think we mentioned, at least for Pamela, to do one post every 4 months. That didn't seem very often to me.
It was one post each month for 4 months.
Okay,
Yeah.
each month.
So like May, June, July, August.
Sure. From my experience, looking at different Instagram followers, I like to see something every week that's new. So I'm curious how you came up with a once a month post for 4 months.
Pamela does have other like sponsorships or other products that she's an influencer for. And obviously we don't want to dive right in and have all of her posts be about Klafs Sauna. However, posts don't account for Instagram stories that she might do as well, which are kind of like Snapchat stories. It's a 24-hour daily thing. Our primary posting would be just like the singular block picture, but that doesn't account for Instagram stories, which would give more viewing.
And in addition, like we're only paying her for those 4 posts, but we're not prohibiting her from posting more. Like she could, you know, be on a weekend and say, hey, I'm going to go in the sauna, and happen to like Instagram live stream it or something like that. So there's added exposure with that as well.
Do we know anything about who represents them? Just thinking through the logistics, that Klafs Sauna says, we love this idea. Do you reach out to them ourselves, or does Klafs Sauna reach out to themselves, or do they?
For influencers,
What's your manager?
Pamela Rife, typically they are their own representation, selecting brands that they want to be represented by.
Even with 4 million followers, is that what it says, 4.2 million?
Right.
She wouldn't have a professional company that represents her?
She might have a personal assistant or a manager, but she doesn't have like a corporation or a big business backing her. It's more individualized.
I think most of the people that she hires are more people to edit her posts for her and to make them look more professional, but I still think she's the one that's in the main control of her life and her accounts and her professional career.
As far as FC Bayern Munich goes, there's a lot of different officers within the corporation that would have to sign off on this, like a facilities manager, as well as like the social media, like whoever is in charge of social media, I imagine is under the marketing chair. So there would be more logistics going with FC Bayern Munich just because they are a professional organization who has a set structure.
But it's such a popular organization as well, and I'm sure that FC Bayern Munich receives so many requests like this one. It might look at Klafs Sauna, Schwabisch and think, it's not really our thing, even with the free sauna. So who are some backup, or which are some backup teams that you think that Klafs should reach out to, and why those backup teams if the Munich one doesn't work out?
So if we decided not to go with Bayern Munich for any number of reasons, we had a backup plan in mind, whereas we weren't going to do another team, we were going to pick another player from the German national team. His name is Julian Draxler. And he has about 4 or 5 million followers, and we figured it would be similar to Pamela Rife in the fact in terms of follower count and also in terms of demographics, whereas Pamela Rife would be more focused on women and health and wellness, and then Julian Draxler would attract the male demographic.
I was curious about your millennial numbers. If we could take a look at it again. The millennials love influencers. Is this all millennials, or is this millennials in Germany?
The website that I pulled it from was not specific on who they surveyed. They just said that we surveyed this many people.
Well, so now you've been working with, not millennials, but a group of students that are close to your age that are from Germany. Do you think that your interactions as U.S. Social media users is similar to or different from the way that you're learning about how Germans?
Well, this was actually their idea. They were very big on the influencers. They suggested Pamela Rife. All 3 of them follow her. They're big fans of several influencers that they brought up. I do believe that influencers have as much, if not more, pull in Germany as in the United States. Because I don't know of any 3 groups of 3 people who follow the same number of influencers.
Are you getting a sense, though, that there's a difference in the way that German students your age might interact with social media versus some of you and your friends?
I honestly think that it's pretty similar because of the internet is making things across countries very similar nowadays. So I would assume that it's obviously there's going to be some differences. It's hard to say what they are, but I do think that there is a overarching similarity between different countries in terms of social media.
So this is kind of branching away from Klafs for a little bit, but what do you think are some of the implications of what you are learning about differences between generations across the globe? Do you think that we will see a major shift toward more of a global culture and less of a country-specific culture?
If you had asked me 5 years ago, I would have said without a doubt. However, in the last few years, there's been a push towards isolationist movements and alt-right movements throughout the world. And so while it was trending that way for a more global society, and I do think overall it will be, I think there is some pushback that could affect the smoothness to that transition of the global community.
Is it a topic that you brought up with your German students? Well, something fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Do you have any more questions, Rachel?
I guess my last question, you had mentioned FC Bayern as being an official partner, and that sounds like really strong language. Would that have a contract to a length of time? What would that would it be also the 4 months like Pamela or something longer as an official
I
partner?
think we were thinking more of an unofficial partnership, you know, just to get the Klafs brand name out there a little bit more. I mean, obviously Bayern Munich is large. They sort of, you know, they're not a smaller team. They're not in need of any financial capital or things like that. So it's sort of up to them whether or not they, you know, want to put that Klafs name out there. But, you know, if we were dealing more with a smaller club or like with Pamela Reif, or if we decided to go the Julian Draxler route, I think it would be more contract-based and definitely more a definitive time length and monetary.
Because a luxury sauna for the FC Bayern team, it would be wonderful visibility, but it would be incredibly expensive for this small company. Can you think of other incentives that Klafs Sauna could offer besides a free sauna?
Free maintenance on a sauna for a number of years could be one route. It could be discounting to its players if they were to buy them individually from Klafs, or some other incentive with the fan base. Like if you have season tickets, maybe you get 5% off the sauna, something of that nature. So there are other options in the luxury sauna. But
Thank you so much. Thanks for your presentation.
Thank you.